So the number one thing when buying your first piece of real estate is determining what you want to buy and how you're going to buy it. I know it sounds easier said than done, but there's many things you can buy: a house, condo, townhouse, or even a income property, duplex, triplex, or even apartment building. There's so many options, but you need to figure out what works for you, what your goals are before you even start looking for anything. After you figure out what your goal is, what you're trying to look for, then you got to figure out the financing part of it, and that comes in several different ways. What I did for me was, after finding a realtor to work with, I started working with a local mortgage broker, and having those two as my main core two, they basically were my left and right hand, where if I had any questions on a deal, they would be able to find out if it's feasible or not. So working with a mortgage broker, she was able to lay out several options on how to afford the property, 10%, 20%, 5%, 3.5%. There's many options out there. So that's what I would recommend, is getting with a mortgage broker along with a realtor, and have those as your main central core when moving forward. So the next part is figuring out where to buy this property. Now, what I started to do was look in my neighborhood, my area, my location, basically 30 miles where I live, 50 miles where I live, probably about an hour radius is where I looked, because I'm primarily living there. And also where I work, that was a big factor where I was going to decide to live, because I don't want to buy a property 3 hours away, even though it's a great deal, and have to drive, for work 3 hours. But you get the idea. So you want to find somewhere that you're comfortable with, that you know the area well, drive around, get in your car and just see things. You know the neighborhood better than anybody else does, better than a realtor. Actually, take that back. My realtor, when I was actually talking to him, because he's much older than me, he's been doing this for like 15, 20 years. He was actually telling me spots in my local area that I had no idea existed. So it's actually a bit of, you know some stuff, and then your realtor does as well. So don't be afraid to ask your realtor questions, which then again goes back to the young versus the old realtors. I highly recommend getting with an older realtor, just because they know their stuff. Younger people are more ambitious, sorry, us young people, but the older guys know it more throughout. They've been around for the recession, especially if they've been working since 2008. They know how the market's going to be. So that's what I was working with. And he was able to find me properties that I didn't even know existed. I looked at units and areas that I didn't even know existed. But it's really cool, because now I have a better knowledge of it for the next property on the line, and it just makes the purchase processing a lot easier. So work with your realtor along with your self-expertise in the area to find a good location. Because remember, not only is the price a big thing, but location. Location, location, location. So now that I have my realtor, my mortgage broker in the area where I want to look at, the way that I was able to feasibly afford this was by setting a savings standard every month. So for example, I would write in my notebook, this month I need to deposit like $1,380.49. I have no idea how I'm going to get that. I have no idea. Well, I have a salary job, but I have no idea like how I'm going to deposit that. Not exactly one, that was my goal. And by setting that up, you end up setting a time frame on what you're trying to afford. So if you're trying to save up $10,000, you set a timetable, you have a plan in place. And that was what I used to save up. And then by saving up, the rest fell into place: realtor, mortgage broker, and location, to then get to where I am today, where I'm recording this video in my townhouse, which I own. Nice, free, it's cool. I pay myself. So that's really how I did it. I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't like get investors from outside. I knew private funding. I just saved up a lot of money. I set a savings limit every month that I had to meet. Adjust your standards of living. Don't buy the Flaming Young, buy the chicken. Don't buy the new skates you want. Wait till next week. Stuff like that. So you really put your priorities straight, and they all the stars kind of fell in line after 7-8 months of searching. It wasn't a 5-month process. It wasn't a 5-day process. It took actually like 2.5, 3 years of saving, and then 6 to 8 months of searching, and then 2 to 3 months of heartache of contracts falling through and properties not working out and properties you fall in love with. I mean, it's really like a game. It's like every day a property pops up and you like it, you don't like it, pictures, you got to see everything. So it's a whole big journey, but I'm going to break down the process a little bit more in depth throughout the several other videos that's going to follow this, because there's a lot of little steps that were involved. And this is kind of just a broad overview, because I'd be here for like an hour, but you get the idea. It's not hard. Save up. I highly recommend it, but then again, it's up to you. But I recommend it because I pay myself every month, which is coming up soon. So pay myself. Anyways, check out the next video, which is going to be, I don't know, probably do how I saved up for it, or maybe, I don't know yet. We'll figure that out. But anyways, until next time, stay tuned.